This is 8. Sorry.
Mhm.
The quiz. The
Yeah.
actual quiz.
Yes. Yes.
Let's see. Did we already take the quiz? We did take the quiz. Okay.
Mhm.
So no problem. Number 4. Number 4. It's thinking. For some reason, it's taking a long time to think. There we go. Oh, bank reconciliation.
I know. It's just like
Oh.
credit, debit, credit.
Yeah. Let's see. Bank balance, book balance, shown or not shown. Okay, so they're giving you scenarios here.
Hmm.
And they're asking you to figure out, well, what's going on. So this is some mental gymnastics unless you put it on
Yes.
paper,
Okay.
right?
That's what
So there's really nothing you can do here except for
doing
if you question it, then if you question your mind, your
Mhm.
ability to logically go through it, then you would do something like, if you had some old examples like this, you might go to them, right? So
Right.
I might pull up, where's my other one? Bank reconciliation, right? I might pull it up
Yeah.
and I say, okay,
Oh, okay.
if a check from a customer is shown on the bank statement, but not yet recorded by the company, what is that? Well, okay, not recorded. This is a key that says that that there's nothing to do with the bank balance because it's already on the bank. It's on the bank statement, but not on the company's records. So it's going to make automatic not applicable, right?
Right.
You don't do anything on the bank side. So then the question is, well, what do you do on the book side? Well, if it's not recorded, then that means that your book balance is too high. It has to come down
Mhm.
for a check. So it's a subtraction, right? And a subtraction means that you have to do a credit.
Okay. Okay. Got that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shown or not shown on reconciliation, definitely show it because you have to reconcile. So therefore, it's definitely a shown.
Mhm.
On the interest earned, this is going to be a bank statement issue, right? Not
Right.
recorded on the company's book. So once again, it's on the bank statement, but not on the books. So ignore the bank statement. It's
Mhm.
going to be an add because it's a deposit effectively, right? It's an increase to your book balance. So an increase on the book balance is going to be a debit.
And it's shown.
Is this
Yeah.
helpful going through these
Yes.
individually?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, let me make it a
big.
little bit bigger for you. I'm not sure if I can make it totally bigger and get
Mhm.
everything in here, but let's see if we can do that. So you
Mhm.
don't have to squint too bad.
You see me do that.
Yeah, that's no problem. Okay, then a deposit made on September 5th. Okay, and processed by the bank on September 6th. All right, so this is going to be deposit made on, what is this related to? Dated September 30th. Okay, so we're looking at a bank reconciliation for the 30th. So if it was made on the 5th and processed on the 6th, it should be there. So there should be nothing on here. It's a trick question.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to know what your date is. September 30th. So it should be there. No problem. Checks written by another depositor, but mistakenly charged against the company's account. Okay. If it's mistakenly charged against our account, it's not something we're going to want to record because it's not our issue. It's the bank's issue to figure out. So theoretically, this should not show up on our bank balance. We would show it as something to add to the book balance, excuse me, the bank adjustments, right? Because we want the bank's value to match our value, and it's a bank error. So we're gonna take it and we're gonna make that adjustment there. So it is shown, it does show up on the bank balance. Can I move this? No. Okay. Bank service charge for September is not recorded by the company, right? Not recorded is a huge flag. right? So it's it's definitely a book side adjustment. And since it's a charge, it's an expense, it's going to reduce your bank balance. So you're going to subtract it, and a subtraction is a credit, and it definitely is shown. Checks outstanding on October 31st, that cleared the bank in September. That cleared the bank in September. Okay. I'm not looking at this other side, right? So I'm thinking through this so you can think
September
through it too.
30th. Yeah.
So it was a check outstanding in the last reconciliation. And now that it's no longer outstanding, it shows up as a transaction in the bank statement, right? Because it'll actually have cleared the bank. So you don't have to do anything on the books because you show it on the books. It's been recorded on the books. They don't indicate it was never recorded on the books. So all is good. So really, there should be no adjustment. No change to the bank balance, no change to the book balance. Everything is good. Yep, all's good. All right. Check written against the company's account and cleared by the bank. Okay, written against the company account and cleared by the bank. Erroneously not recorded by the company's record keeper. Ah, brilliant. So we wrote a check. It went through, it got, it cleared the account, but we didn't have a record of it, right? So somebody manually did it instead of doing it in the system and never recorded it. So in that case, nothing to do on the book of the bank side, because that's correct. What's not correct is the book side, because we didn't record it. So we have to record it. And since it's a check, it's an expense, a reduction in cash, it's going to be a subtraction. Did I get that right? Yep, subtract, credit, and it definitely show. Okay, so check written again, or that one. A note receivable is collected by the bank for the company, but it is not yet recorded. So this is an example of what we did in our bank reconciliation before, where there was a deposit effectively made on the bank side, but not recorded on the book side, on the company side. So not recorded, once again, is an indication that it's a book side adjustment. And so since it's a receivable, therefore it's cash coming in, it's going to be an add to your cash, and therefore it's a debit. NA, add, debit, and it is shown. Okay. Checks written and mailed to employees on October 2nd. Oh, tricky. So what's our date for the reconciliation?
September 30th.
September 30th. Anything after September 30th, you ignore. It's not on your, it shouldn't be on your balance for the books through September 30th. So this should be a NA all the way across. Checks written by the company and I did that. Night deposit made on September 30th after the bank is closed. This is a classic case of a deposit in transit, where you booked it theoretically in your records. You went to deposit it, bank's closed, so they're not necessarily, when they do the bank statement, the bank statement, that deposit is probably going to show up on October 1st or October 2nd, whatever the bank opens, and the deposit is actually recorded on the bank side. So book side is fine, right? Because you've recorded it, it's all good. Bank side needs to be adjusted as a deposit in transit or as an add to the bank balance, right? So add NA shown. Good. And then lastly, bank fees for check printing are not yet recorded by the company. Okay, so it shows up on the bank statement. Once again, big trigger, not yet recorded. So therefore it's on the book side adjustment. And since it's an expense, it's going to be a reduction to cash and therefore a credit.
Okay.
Got it? In and subtract credit. Okay. Yeah. These are classic examples, all 12 of them, of the types of issues that might show up on a bank reconciliation that you have to either adjust for or not adjust for, right? There's nothing to be done. And some of these are clear, where it's NA all the way across, like this one, right? This is a clear question if you understand what you're looking for, right? If there really is any impact to the reconciliation, especially like on this one where it's, October 2nd, which is after the reconciliation date, or like on this one where it's all within the reconciliation timeframe, there is no error. It was just a timing issue within the month, but it's not going to show up on the books or on the bank statement as anything as that needs to be corrected or adjusted for.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Which one was this one? 611.
Mhm.
I have to note that so I can parse it out. Makes it a little easier to
Mhm.
go to what you need. Okay. Exercise.
I just
611.
have like a mini question. Remember you were telling me of the bank error? Does it matter if we put it near where the interest is or where the NSF check is? That part in the book balance. Because I know
The
in
book,
question number 5, I
yeah.
put on top instead of on the bottom, and it said it was correct.
Hmm.
On
On the NSF, it's going to be a reduction, so it's going to be in the area of subtractions.
right, but when it's on
Right.
the addition side, that's one you were showing me before, right? It's
Oh yeah.
week
If
7,
it's an addition, then it'll come up. You have to add it to the
right?
bank. So there's
So
2 sections, right?
right.
Sorry, go ahead.
So number 5, week 7, week access has the opposite.
Yeah, it's a add, so it's going to be in the add section. So you want all your additions in one place and all your subtractions in another.
Right. Okay. So when you figure it out, is like we're adding to the book balance if we need to give the money back, right? To the person, the company.
If we're adding to the book balance anything that was a deposit theoretically on to the bank statement that shows up on the bank statement that we did not record,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So a collection of a receivable that we didn't know about would usually be on the bank statement, but not on the books, and so that would be an add.
Okay.
Or on the case of an expense, if for some reason we got a refund on something that we had paid for in the past, let's say the bank reversed some charges. Like let's say they had a check fee, right? And the check fee was, let's say, $50. But we called them and said, hey, that wasn't our check fee. They put $50 back in. I don't know. That's not really, but anyway, they put $50 back in the account, but we didn't record it. Then we would add it back to the bank balance. Right?
So if if I'm a bank employee and I made an error on like the check, I made it more than what it is, then I would have to go to the subtraction side of the book balance, right?
If you're a bank employee and they took out more than it actually is, that's going to be on the bank side for the adjustment, because it's not
Okay.
related to our books, right? We want to keep our numbers exactly the way they should be, and the same on the bank side. So if they incorrectly recorded the check for more than it was, then we want to show that on the bank side, because that's something that somebody, a clerk, an accounting clerk, or somebody on the accounting side is going to call the bank and say, you overcharged me for that check, or you incorrectly put that check amount in. You need to fix your issue. But our issue on the book side is going to remain the same. And it'll just continue to be a reconciling item on the bank side until it gets fixed, but nothing to do on our side in terms of the records.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, because really what you're looking at is what should the book balance be, or what should the bank balance be, right? And those two should equal. And then from there, who does what? Where do you have to record something on the books to correct it, or do you have to go to the bank and do something to correct it?
Okay, so you have to
Or
ask
just
those.
wait for it to happen. And actually, in some cases, like on the bank reconciliation, the biggest issue is either on deposits in transit, right? You don't want that employee who was taking the deposit to the bank to disappear. Well, of course, they might disappear and you have nothing to do, nothing you can do about it. But at least you know that it's in transit, right? Same on the
Right.
checks. You've issued a check to a vendor and they haven't deposited it for 6 months. So you call them up and say, hey, did you ever get that check? And they'll say, no, I didn't. So you'll reverse that check out, reissue another one, right?
Right.
So that's why you have your bank versus book adjustments and reconciling items. You keep track of them over time so you know what needs to be done.
Yeah. Thank you. This is good for personal reasons too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I think I'm fine too.
All right, very good. Well, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you haven't taken the exam, I hope you're the best.
Thank you.
And
You.
we'll see you next Tuesday, I guess, if you're available.
Okay. All right.
All right, take care.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.